Hey yo, it's Bae bringing you Captain Tsubasa Dream Team, and today I would like to talk about limit break function, that feature that recently came. And thanks to this new function, the game is now more has more what it became more deeper, the way to there's more to think about now, and which is fun and good. I really like the way they brought up this new function, limit break. That's how it's called, right? I forgot. I'm opening the English version right now. Hold on. Ability limit break. Yeah. So I'm gonna be talking today about how I think is the best way to use those limit break items. And as I've been saying from all the past videos, the best way way to grow your character, whether using the black balls or this limit break, is you should make a character edgy, because this is team sport. Football is team sport, and like, let's say if you have like Alberto, for example, and he's a tackle person, but he also can have block, right? And you want to raise his block as well, so that the opponent will have to think, make up his mind which to go with, right? But I think by raising his block, it won't be so high because his original stats isn't that high, and then you'll end up being like not strong for both tackle and block, and that's what I fear. So that's why in this game, normally you don't, most of the times you don't match up against the opponent with just one character. You do match up with like two or more. That's the most things that could happen, especially when you're when it comes to defenders, right? So even if Alberto only has tackle, he'll probably match up with the opponent together with someone like Robson or whoever you have, and then as long as the other guy has a strong block, you could just do tackle and block so that you could kill both dribble and shot, right? So of course it's important for some character in some positions to have balanced stats or skills, but most of the times I would say it would be best to raise one skill and then make it really edgy. And if your skill or stats is so edgy in one point, then you could even sometimes get the opponent's different skills. Like if you do tackle with Alberto and the opponent does something like shot, right? You might be able to get it if the shot isn't that strong. So I think it's really good to make it edgy. So that, all that being said, my advice to you is to make it edgy. So for Alberto, what I'm doing already is I'm already giving 25 maximum to tackle, and then I'm gonna be doing speed next. Yeah, that's what you should do, I think. And as for if you're gonna use it to, well, goalkeeper, it's easy. If you're a catching keeper, then you should do just raise catch, and then the physical that goes to catch, right? For field player, it's more complex, and characters like DMF or OMF, who is really, most of the characters in these positions are really balanced, because you'll have to do, midfielders have to do both offensive and defensive moves, right? So characters, for example, like Matsuyama, Fes Matsuyama, or Fes Pierre, or like Tsubasa Misaki, people like that, you might have difficulties making up your mind which to go with, right? And for those people, my advice to you, even for these characters, I would go with being edgy. So for example, if it's Pierre, he's really strong on block, so I would maximize block and power first, and then you still have 2000 more to go, so determine which to go, whether tackle or interception. And of course Pierre also could do offensive stuff like pass and even shot maybe, but I think Pierre is more of a defending character. So yeah, I would go definitely with block, power, and then probably, because I have butterfly tackle on him, I would go with tackle. But for defender characters, or even OMF characters or offensive characters, rather than going physical. Well, this I should say for forward and defender, not OMFs or DMFs. Rather than going like block, well, for Pierre I will go block and power for sure. But then after this, should I go tackle, speed, or interception technique? My recommendation to you is I would go block. After doing block and power, I would go tackle and interception instead of tackle and speed or interception technique. The reason is because physical stats, how you blend these figures is, by now most of you probably know, but you divide these figures by 2, right? And then add that up on top of tackle or dribble or shot or block or whatever, right? For example, if you want to calculate the actual stat of tackle, his tackle is like 6,000, right? And his speed is like 5,300, right? 5,400. So you divide the speed 5,400 into half, which is 2,700, and you add that to 2,700 on top of the tackle 6,000. That will end up to be 8,700, right? But because I think this Pierre is a defensive character, I want to use him as a defending character. If that's the case, I would recommend you to do tackle and interception rather than tackle and speed. Well, it's really hard. If you want to really become also edgy on tackle next to block, then you want to do speed. But since speed, you have to divide that figure to 2, right? It doesn't boost the stat as much as it boosts the stat when you raise the interception, because interception it directly boosts whatever figure you add on top of the original stats, right? But technique, speed, and power, these you divide into half, and then you give it to tackle, block, interception, and also it goes to offensive stats, right? So if you're a midfielder, that is also good because you'll be really balanced by raising the physical, right? It'll not only go to tackle when you raise the speed, it'll not only go to tackle but also to dribble, right? That's the way things work. So when it comes to forward and defense, I would say maybe it's better that you might wanna give all 3,000 to 3 of the defensive stats and then make it edgy on one part, like power for Pierre. Like for example, Hino, he's a shooter, really strong shooter, and yeah, him. He's a really strong shooter. So I did shot already. I'm working on power right now. But after I'm done with those, I still have 2,000 more left to go, right? And should I do dribble? Should I do pass? And if I were you, because he's not gonna be doing any defense, I'm not gonna depend on him on defense. I think it's better that I should give the rest 2,000 to dribble and pass rather than speed or technique, because I'm not gonna use him as a defender. Right? I don't even have any defensive skill. Well, I do power charge, but I never use it. Most of the time, I won't use it. Only when the little time is left, and I still have tons of stamina for Hino, I might use it. But I'm not, really looking forward to him getting the opponent's ball with this power charge most of the time. So, yeah. So for forwards and defenders, I think that might be better because it could fully be focused on whatever you're specialized in. Yeah. So that's the way I think is good. Well, at least that's how I think it's good. And after this is something more advanced, but now that this function is here, it's more really you could do many more stuff, and you could make original characters more than before, right? Because you could you don't have to always put 1,000 to one skill, I mean stats. You could even divide that into 2 and 500 each, and you could do 8 parts by 500, right? You could do that too. But for I better charge. For characters, especially strong characters like Dream Fest or collection characters, and you have a dupe, for example, right? from now, since this function is here, I would recommend you not to give that skill to raise one level of main skill, and I would use that, keep that, and create another version of that character. For example, I have no, not Alberto, like Matsuyama. I have a dupe, right? I still have it. I didn't use it as a mixer because it's a Dreamfest. I didn't want to do that, and I knew this. I already had this idea that I'm gonna be talking. So Matsuyama, the first Matsuyama, I will make it really edgy. I didn't do anything yet, but on tackle and probably interception, because he's a DMF only character. He needs more of a interception than block, right? So for him, unlike what I said previously, I would probably do tackle and speed and interception technique, because he could also do pass, right? Yeah, so that's my what I'm thinking to do. But for another duplication Matsuyama, what I'm thinking to do is I might make something different. Like I'll do edgy on tackle and block, and depending on which formation to use. Let's say if you have like a double DMF formation, that's the formation you're using, and your partner is Misuki, for example, or Cults, and who could already do interception. Then I might wanna shift him to block, and I'll use this second Matsuyama for that formation. So I could, differentiate these two Matsuyamas by changing the way of giving this limit break items. Yeah, so it's really fun to create now two types of the same character, so that you could change which to use by occasions, Yeah, so that's what I'm planning to do for the duplications, especially for fest or collection or characters that are really strong. Yeah, and especially for characters like not Matsuyama, he could only do DMF, but like Pierre or like Misaki or people who could do both OMF and DMF. You could go like create a defensive one and offensive one. You could change two ways so that you could use it per situation. Yeah, I think that's gonna be really fun. So that's my recommendation. Yeah. So I hope I am clear and it's helpful for some of you who may be determining what to do with these items. Well, it's really hard. I think club games made the stages to collect these items too hard, to be honest, because it's really, now it's 1 year anniversary, and because they're doing commercial in Japan. I don't know how it is done in the global, but I see many new players coming, because right now the global share is going on, so I could tell from the rank of the character or the player, right? So I know that there's many new people playing this game. So for these players, it's like none of their business right now. It's too hard for them to clear this. Even it's too hard for me. Dude, I just did the Monday one, and I messed up because I have to use blue type, and I don't have blue type. So I really wanted Club to make this much more easier, so that I think users don't want these stages to be hard, and because I don't think we are being entertained by this type of games or stages where you play with AI and you have to do it every day 3 times, right? And we're not like looking for difficulties here. We are more looking for difficulties around like PvP or like League. Maybe something better could happen to League, I think. And so I don't think something routine work like this should be so hard, because it's just gonna be a pain in everyone's ass, right? So that's how I think. How do you guys think? So that's about it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope it's helpful, and please subscribe and stay tuned for my next video. Thanks and bye.